I opened my eyes in that hospital bed, expecting to see my daughter's face. Instead, I saw a stranger calling herself Emma, claiming to be my child. The worst part? Everyone believed her. My name is May. I'm 68 years old. And 3 months ago, I went in for a routine hip replacement surgery. Nothing major. The doctors said I'd be home within a week. But when I woke up from anesthesia, my entire world had been stolen. My daughter was gone. My house keys were gone. And sitting beside my hospital bed was a woman I had never seen before in my life. The recovery room was cold, sterile. I remember the fluorescent lights buzzing above me like angry wasps. My mouth tasted like metal. My hip throbbed with a dull, persistent ache that the morphine couldn't quite touch. But none of that mattered, because sitting in the chair next to my bed was a woman with dark hair and green eyes. She was holding my hand, smiling at me with this practiced tenderness that made my skin crawl. "Mom," she said softly. "You're awake." "Thank God." I pulled my hand away. "Who are you?" Her smile faltered for just a second, then snapped back into place like a mask. "Mom, it's me, Emma, your daughter." I stared at her. Really stared. Searched her face for anything familiar. The shape of her nose, the curve of her jaw, the way her eyes crinkled when she smiled. Nothing. "I don't have a daughter named Emma," I said. My voice came out hoarse, weak. "My daughter's name is Rachel. Where is Rachel?" The woman who called herself Emma exchanged a quick look with the nurse standing near the door. It was practiced, like they'd rehearsed this moment. "Mrs. Patterson," the nurse said, stepping closer. "You're still coming out of anesthesia. It's normal to feel confused and disoriented." "I'm not confused," I snapped. "I know my own daughter's name." Emma reached for my hand again. I jerked it away. "Mom, please. You're scaring me." That word, Mom, coming from a stranger's mouth made me want to scream. The nurse injected something into my IV. Said it would help me rest, help me calm down. I didn't want to be calm. I wanted answers. But the drugs pulled me under before I could protest. When I woke up again, it was dark outside. The hospital room was quiet, except for the steady beep of the machines monitoring my vitals. Emma was still there, sleeping in the chair beside my bed, her head tilted at an uncomfortable angle, her mouth slightly open. I studied her in the dim light, this woman who claimed to be my child. She looked to be in her early 40s, professional, well-dressed. An expensive handbag sat on the floor beside her feet. Nothing about her was familiar. I tried to remember Rachel's face, my real daughter, the one I'd raised alone after my husband died 23 years ago. Rachel had blonde hair like mine, blue eyes, a small scar above her left eyebrow from when she fell off her bike at age 7. This woman had none of those features. Where was Rachel? Had something happened to her? My heart started racing. The machines beeped faster. Emma stirred in her chair and opened her eyes. "Mom? Are you okay?" "Stop calling me that," I said. "Where's Rachel? What have you done with my daughter?" Emma stood up and approached the bed slowly, like I was a wild animal she didn't want to spook. "Mom, I am Rachel. I changed my name to Emma 5 years ago. Don't you remember? We talked about it. You said you understood. A lie. An obvious, blatant lie. Rachel would never change her name. It was her grandmother's name. My mother's name. She'd always been proud of it." "You're lying," I said. "I want to see identification. Proof." Emma pulled out her wallet and showed me a driver's license. Emma Louise Patterson. My last name. My address. Listed as hers. "This doesn't prove anything," I said. "Anyone can fake an ID." "Mom, stop calling me that!" The nurse rushed in. More drugs. More reassurances that I was just confused. But I wasn't. I knew my own daughter. And this woman wasn't her. Over the next 3 days, I tried everything. I demanded a phone to call Rachel's number. Emma handed me a cell phone with Mom saved in the contacts. When I called, it rang. On Emma's phone sitting right beside my bed. I asked for my address book, my personal contacts. Emma said she'd bring them from home. She never did. I asked the nurses to verify her identity. They showed me admission papers, all listing Emma Louise Patterson as my daughter, my next of kin. I asked to see the hospital administrator, a thin woman with wire-rimmed glasses and a clipboard. She listened patiently as I explained that this woman was an imposter and that my real daughter was missing. She smiled kindly and said she understood my confusion, said it was common after surgery. Nobody believed me. I was discharged on day 5. Emma wheeled me out to a car I didn't recognize and drove me to my house. My beautiful house that I'd lived in for 32 years. She used keys I'd never given her to open my front door. Inside, everything looked wrong. The furniture was the same. The layout was the same. But the photos on the mantel, they showed Emma, not Rachel. Emma as a child. Emma as a teenager. Emma graduating college. All photoshopped. They had to be. But they looked real. Aged. Authentic. "Let me help you to your room, Mom," Emma said. I pulled away from her. "This is my house. Get out. Mom, I live here. I moved in 2 years ago to take care of you. Don't you remember?" Another lie. I lived alone. Always had since Rachel moved out 15 years ago. "I want you out of my house right now, or I'm calling the police." Emma's expression changed. Just slightly. The mask slipped. I saw something cold underneath. Calculating. "Okay, Mom, if that's what you want." She pulled out her phone and dialed. "Hi, yes. I need to speak with Dr. Morrison. It's about my mother, May Patterson. She's having severe confusion and delusions after her surgery." "Yes, I'll hold." She was calling my doctor, reporting me, building a case that I was mentally incompetent. I lunged for the phone. My hip screamed in protest. I nearly fell. Emma caught me, held me steady with surprising strength. "Careful, Mom. You'll hurt yourself." That night, I barely slept. I lay in my own bed, in my own house, feeling like a prisoner. Emma had taken my phone, said it was for my own safety. She'd also taken my wallet, credit cards, and checkbook. "For safekeeping," she said. At 3 a.m., I got out of bed, ignored the pain in my hip, limped down the hallway to the guest room where Emma was sleeping. I needed answers. I needed proof. Her purse was on the dresser. I went through it quietly. Inside, I found her real wallet. Her ID said, Emma Louise Richardson. Not Patterson. Richardson. My hands started shaking. I kept digging. Found a business card. Gerald Fisher, attorney at law. Then, a notebook. I flipped through the handwritten pages. Target May Patterson. 68 years old. Widow. No close family, except daughter Rachel. Deceased 6 months ago. Car accident. Significant assets. Owns home outright. Pension. Savings. Estimated worth. $400K. My blood turned to ice. Rachel was dead. My baby was dead. And I hadn't known. Tears came before I could stop them. I kept reading. Plan. Intercept hospital admission. Replace real emergency contact info with my own. Create false paper trail. Present as daughter during recovery. Once trust guardianship established. Transfer assets. And sell property. It was all there. The entire con. Written in her own handwriting. I heard movement behind me. Spun around. Emma stood in the doorway, no longer smiling. "You couldn't just stay confused, could you?" she said coldly. "You killed my daughter," I whispered. "I didn't kill anyone," Emma said. "Rachel died in a car accident 6 months ago. That part's true. But you were so isolated, so alone. No friends, no other family. You didn't even know she was dead because you two hadn't spoken in 3 years." "That's not true. Rachel and I talked every week. Did you?" Emma stepped closer. "Or do you just remember it that way? When was the last time you actually saw her, May?" I tried to think. Tried to remember. The memories were fuzzy. "You targeted me," I whispered. "I researched you," she corrected. Found someone vulnerable. Someone going through major surgery. Someone whose real family was already gone. The photos. Hired a digital artist. $2,000. Worth every penny. The nurses, the doctors, they all believe you. Because I gave them no reason not to. I have legal documents. I pay your bills. I show up. I play the concerned daughter perfectly. She smiled. You're the one who looks crazy, May. Not recognizing your own child. Classic post-surgical dementia. My legs gave out. I sank to the floor, the notebook still clutched in my hands. What are you going to do? I asked. What I planned from the beginning, she said. Get you declared mentally incompetent. Become your legal guardian. Sell this house. Transfer your accounts. By the time anyone questions anything, I'll be gone. And you'll be in a nursing home somewhere wondering why your daughter abandoned you. She reached for the notebook. Give it to me, May. No. Give it to me. I looked up at her. This stranger who had stolen my identity, my daughter's identity, my life. And I made a choice, I screamed. Emma's eyes went wide. She rushed forward, tried to cover my mouth. I bit her hand, hard. She yelped, pulled back. I screamed again. Lights flicked on in the neighbor's house across the street. Emma saw it too. You stupid old woman, she hissed. You just made everything so much worse for yourself. She grabbed her purse and ran for the door. Her car engine roared to life. And then she was gone. The notebook was still in my hands. Evidence. Finally. The police came 20 minutes later. Mrs. Chen, my neighbor, had called them after hearing me scream. I showed them everything. The notebook, the fake ID, the whole story. At first, the officer looked skeptical, asked if I'd taken my pain medication, if I was feeling confused. But then he read the notebook. His expression changed. Ma'am, he said, I think we need to take a full statement. It took 3 weeks to unravel Emma's con. Her real name was Emma Richardson. She had 2 prior arrests for elder fraud. She'd done this before. Targeted vulnerable seniors, stolen their identities, their money, their lives. She'd been watching me for months. Ever since Rachel died, waiting for the perfect opportunity. My surgery. The police found her in Nevada, arrested her at a casino. She'd already moved on to her next target, a 72-year-old widower recovering from heart surgery. I pressed charges, testified at her trial, watched her get sentenced to 8 years in federal prison. But justice didn't bring Rachel back. Justice didn't erase the 3 years we'd spent not speaking. Over a stupid argument I can't even remember now. I later learned that Rachel had tried to reconcile. She'd called the hospital when she heard about my surgery, but Emma intercepted the call, told them Rachel was mentally unstable, a danger to me, and put her on a do not contact list. Rachel died 2 weeks later. Never knowing I would have forgiven her, would have welcomed her back, would have given anything for one more conversation. I'm 68 years old. I live alone in my house. The house that almost wasn't mine anymore. I've learned some hard lessons about trust, about isolation, about how easily a life can be stolen when you let yourself become invisible. I joined a community center, made real friends, people who check on me, who would notice if I suddenly disappeared. I updated all my legal documents, put protections in place, made sure what happened to me could never happen again. And I visit Rachel's grave every Sunday. Tell her about my week. Tell her I'm sorry. Tell her I love her. I can't change the past. Can't get back those wasted years. But I can make sure her memory isn't forgotten. That her name isn't stolen by someone like Emma. My name is May Patterson. I'm 68 years old. And I survived identity theft in its cruelest form. Someone didn't just steal my credit cards or my social security number. They tried to steal my daughter, my history, my entire existence. But I'm still here, still fighting, still living. Because the best revenge against people who try to erase you is to refuse to disappear. Subscribe if you want to hear more stories like this.